Hey, it's me, Annalisa, with My Spiritual Friend. I thought I'd pop on and see if anybody would show up. I haven't done these in a while. Maybe just do a quick update then. So back in June of last year, and I'll include the link here, I did a video. It was from a live reading, and hello, welcome. And the person asked if Trump would be gone, and my guide said Trump will be gone, but now not how we want him to. And I wasn't sure at the time what that meant. And I think I know what it means now. So I was sort of thinking maybe the financial markets would go to crap. And I did get that they would kind of go, there would be a lot of up and down starting this January. And it would be that way for about 18 months. So I do see that the markets are going to kind of settle out in about a year and a half, which isn't like great for everybody, but it's not disastrous. Like I feel like it's all going to be okay. And if you remember the markets, hi Monica, hi Jazz, Hands, Baseman, hey Olake. So if you remember, the markets are totally, completely emotionally driven. And if you're an empath, stop panicking. You're feeding into that energy. So anyway, so what I was saying was that I felt like Trump, this is back in December, back in last June, I had said Trump would be leaving, but not how we wanted him to. And I didn't know what that meant. And I think what's going on right now with the COVID-19 or COVID-19, however you say it, and sort of the craptastic response. And the markets are going to sort of seal the deal that he'll be out of here. Another thing I got, and I think this is interesting. So the whole time I will say I was wrong about all the candidates, clearly. And I kept feeling like Biden, no way Biden. But what I did keep hearing was B squared for the ticket for president and vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. So I think even whoever is nominated for VP is going to have a B somehow in their name. So keep an eye out for that. Energetically, I've been getting from a lot of people, depression, anxiety, all of this stuff going on right now. A lot of y'all who watch this, a lot of my friends are all empaths. So keep in mind, oh, well, I'll be missing Mr. Trump live. Thanks for tuning in to me. Oh, God only knows what he's going to say. Hi, everybody. So I feel like we're all going to be okay. Just relax and remember you're sort of feeling into everybody else's energy. There's a lot of stress, but it's all going to work out. It's all going to be okay. And remember, I did say I felt like it's going to be more about pockets. So a lot of people are going to get it. I do think that we're going to, what do they call it? Flatten the curve. I don't think it's a bad idea to do social distancing. That's my nursing background talking. Listen, when my kids get sick, when my house gets sick, no hugs, no kisses. I love you dearly. We just don't do that because we don't want to share our germs. So you can do it with your friends. It will all work out. It will all be okay. What's going on for you guys spiritually? How do you know if you're an empath? Okay, so the biggest, easiest way to tell if you're an empath. If you feel totally great, and you're going somewhere and say you walk into a room and all of a sudden you feel heavy, anxious, nauseous, headaches, whatever, it's not you. You can't just walk into a room all of a sudden and feel that way. If you sit next to someone and all of a sudden you're not feeling right, you could casually say, you're locked up in Ireland. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. I think we're all, my kids are depressed. They're like, their spring break got moved from the second week, like the Easter break week in April, to next week because they don't have the educational stuff set up yet. And I'm like, listen, we're lucky we have a nice big yard. We can go out in the yard and play, and just, they're stuck with me though, not their friends. I'm not doing psychic readings today. This is one of those times where we just have spiritual chats. So you can, yeah. And that's the other thing is, remember that then also when big world things happen and you feel super overwhelmed by them, like even good or bad. So I get, like when Obama was elected, there was such happiness and elation. I felt on fire. It was crazy. When Trump got elected, there was such another, like the swing the other way. It was hard. So just keep that in mind, that if you're empathic, you're going to feel other people's stuff. The best way to deal with that as an empath is to, is the minute, like for me, the minute I go, if I'm doing your readings and I feel something, it's pretty much the minute I recognize that it's not mine and you take ownership of it. The other person doesn't necessarily have to take ownership if we're just like out in public. If I just go, oh, that's not me, I feel immediately better. It's like, oh, okay, I see you have brown hair. It's just another aspect of who they are. Yeah. Oh, the base weight awakens. Yeah, no, seriously. My daughter, I can't go to Target or anything on the weekends. They like kids think I'm nuts because I'm like, I just can't handle everybody's energy. I can't stand it. It's like, yeah. Although when I go into New York City, like if I haven't been in a while and I step into the city and it's really, I like the first 10 minutes or so, I'm kind of, and then I get okay, but I can't do casinos either. Like we went to, this was years ago. There's one up in Connecticut. I think it starts with an M. I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, it's like the people's energy on the floor, like they can't, I can't handle that. Totally. When something feels off and it's like out of nowhere, that's usually when you're an empath, or you feel like their physical stuff. You can even ask people like, hey, I'll say like, are you feeling okay? Do you have a headache? I mean, everybody knows what I do. I'm pretty open about it. But when I was in the closet, I would like casually slip it into conversation just to kind of figure out like, oh, how, to figure out if it was mine or not. But now they all know, like, it's me, that's who I am. I can watch TV. Oh, the things I can't watch on TV are like, my husband likes horror movies and I can deal with suspense, but like, or if it's like somebody getting hurt, I really don't like watching divorce things. I don't know why. Just like all of that, like, it's just a lot. I can't watch. And sometimes, like the documentaries, I think I was watching a documentary on like the Catholic Church and all of that stuff. And I couldn't, I had to stop watching. It was too much. Oh, and also Basement Awakened. I think this is funny. I don't know if you guys notice this. You say supermarket. My husband and I always have a joke between supermarket and I say grocery store. So I don't know what y'all like, but I always tease that I don't know what a supermarket is. I always get my groceries at the grocery store. Yeah, Mohegan Sun. That's what it is. Yeah, Mohegan Sun. I went there and I couldn't. It was like my husband's company's like 10th year anniversary. This is years ago. And he gave us, I don't even, were we married at the time? We may not have been married. Oh, it was more than 10 years ago. They gave us like each like a $50 chip or something for maybe it was 100. I don't remember what it was for gambling. And I went and just bought something in the store. So I was like, I can't. And even when I went to, I don't know if you know what Coshada is in Louisiana. Because I lived in Houston. I'm from Texas, whatever. And so a guy I was dating at the time and I went to Coshada and I was like, all right, I won $10. I'm good. Let's go. Like I just couldn't. It wasn't even about the money. It was like, I just can't handle the energy. So I'm lucky since I'm a stay-at-home mom for shopping. I can do it like literally. I like the morning, like, I'm done, get my daughter home for a nap. I don't like, the crowdedness. I don't even like when the malls are really crowded. I don't even understand it. But I try to shop in stores because I try to support the brick and mortar. Okay, how can you talk with your spirit guides and angels because you've been blocked lately? Okay, first of all, change that. You're not blocked. I really believe in manifesting. I believe that what we believe is true. So if you believe you're blocked, you're blocked. If you don't, you're not. So, and then you start slowly, even ask for validation and don't put pressure on how it has to come, when it has to come, whatever. Just say, give me validation about something or start talking. And then if you get something, just write it down. And it may seem crazy or whatever, but just write it down. And they'll start giving you validations through it. Don't go, oh, well, it was only somebody I did a reading for. I said, you're going to start hearing, actually physically hearing outside of your head, your guides. And they're like, well, I only heard hello. And I'm like, hello, you got to start somewhere. You got to let the door knock, they're going to knock on the door. You got to kind of open it. Don't say, well, it could have been this, or it was that. Just say, thank you. They'll start talking more once they notice you acknowledge it, but get off the bandwagon of I'm blocked. Because if you say I'm blocked, then you will be blocked. Oh, well, okay, I'm not worried about World War III. Honestly, I don't foresee that happening. I feel like, there's just too many things that are not, offering that now. I say I can be wrong, but I don't flow down that path. I will say my whole life, I always felt like something big and horrible would happen. 9/11 happened, and that feeling completely went away, so I feel like that was kinda it. I don't see a huge war happening like that. Um I don't know about that. I don't feel like they're gonna put anybody on, even if they do put us on lockdown, again, pockets. Um, See, okay, because I think the Texas thing is grocery store, by the way. I feel like they might do pockets, but it's only gonna be a short time, and even when they lock down, like, put the barrier around New Rochelle, people are allowed to move around freely. They're really bringing in the support for cleaning the buildings and making sure that people who need food, who are like Meals on Wheels or lower income, um, are getting what they need to get. That's it. Yeah. So it's funny when you say that, Sock Monkey, about the therapy thing, going to therapy for because you felt like you were going crazy. I get on with my clients, and even before I knew, because I didn't have anybody to go to, I felt like I was nuts. Um, Before I started doing readings, this is my very first experience. This is how I'm going to tell you how I started doing readings. Um, I was in New York as a travel nurse, and I just didn't quite connect with the nurses I was working with. I mean, they were nice enough, but I just didn't have a ton in common. And they wanted to go to like clubs where you dress up and you pay, uh, whatever you call it, with the fee at the beginning. See, that's how many I went to. I liked dive bars. I just kind of wanted to like keep it small, I hate small talk, but that's the introvert in me. And also that's just who I am. So I Googled how to meet friends in New York because I just didn't know. And I'm being an introvert, I didn't know how to put myself out there. So I found it immediately, meetup.com came up, and I found a spiritual group, and there was called the Lightworkers group. So I went into the first meeting, and also like I have to force myself to go out and do things sometimes because like socially, because I'm an introvert. So I remember going, like, just dreading it, and then like walking in, and immediately I saw my friend, and I'm not going to name her name because she likes to be private, because she's like pretty academic and I guess maybe doesn't want to marry the two worlds. But she saw me and she goes, I walked in the door literally, and she goes, "What do you do?" And I said, "I don't do anything. I see things, I hear things, I have dreams that come true, but I don't do anything." And she said, "You're going to start doing readings." And I thought, you are fucking crazy. Pardon my French. And so we made a pact that for the first couple months, I think, that we like kind of hung out and talked and stuff, that I could ask her basic, "How are you doing?" She'd say, "Fine, whatever." But I didn't want to know anything about her. She could ask whatever she wanted about me. And I sat down, and I went to her apartment. And the very first reading, she's like, she was trying to talk me into doing tarot. And I was like, "I'm not doing all of that. I feel like, to me, scientifically, I was like, there's too much to chance with that." Even though now I know differently, I was like, there's too much to chance. So um, I just closed my eyes, and I just started telling her. I think I was holding something of hers, and I started telling her what I was getting. And she's from her background is from the Middle East. And so I didn't understand some of the cultural things I was getting at first, but then I started hitting with this. I saw black hair swishing, and I said, there's a young woman here. And she said, "What does she look like?" I said, "I don't know. I just know her hair. I could see her hair." And I said, and then I saw my feet very clearly. And this is like a picture in my mind's eye and I knew it was a Texas beach. So it was a seeing and a knowing. I knew my feet were on a Texas beach. Although all I could see was a little bit of water and my feet in the sand. And I said, "I'm on a Texas beach." And then I saw tons and tons of cigarette smoke, not weed, but cigarette smoke. And I saw hands rolling cigarettes, again, not joints. They were just knowing that. And I said, "So I see tons and tons of plumes of smoke and hands rolling cigarettes." And I said, "I see my hands playing on a piano." And I kept seeing this little bean bouncing in front of my face. just bouncing, a little tiny bean bouncing. And I sat and stared at it. And she probably saw my face is very expressive. I do not have a poker face. And she said, what? And I said, well, I guess it's a fucking little fucking bean bouncing. I don't know what it means. And she said, do you want me to tell you what it means? And I said, yeah, because I'm clueless. And she said, I had a friend who passed away, and she would have been in her 20s. She lived in Texas, in one of the beach towns. And I don't recall if she said Houston or Galveston. And she said, I used to smoke so many cigarettes. Oh, and she played the piano. And I used to smoke so many cigarettes that I rolled my own cigarettes. And one of their nicknames was Little Bean. And I went, holy shit. This makes everything make complete sense, because before I used to go to bed at night, I would like just my all of a sudden I'd lay down and I'd relax, and I just images flowing through my head. And I couldn't figure out, I was like, my brain won't shut down. And I thought I was nuts. And when you start being empathic and you start getting messages, sometimes you think, maybe I'm making this up in my head. Maybe I am nuts. I don't understand. But that's like sort of led me onto this path of like starting to open up and do all of these things. So you do feel crazy. And in fact, when I was looking for my own shrink, I looked for my own psychologist, therapist. I made sure that they were sort of more into the holistic stuff, because I didn't want someone to tell me I was crazy and put me on medication. So that's my story. I'm not doing psychic readings, so I'll be ignoring your messages. It's just kind of spiritual chat for you to share or to ask questions about your own spiritual experiences. Share them with the others in the room. You keep seeing people when you close your eyes, but not hearing anything. Do you think the spirit is? Yes, absolutely, Danny. That's your clairvoyance opening up. And sometimes it comes with the speaking, and sometimes it comes with the seeing. And the other thing is sometimes y'all, spirits will show up and they're like, don't talk. But it's not because I'm not doing something right. It's because they're like, if they're not very spiritual here on this existence, it takes a little bit for them to learn how to communicate back, like the reverse communication. If they're super spiritual here, like me, then like before I pass, I'm going to start be talking to people, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. But those people that start talking right away are usually typically very spiritual here. So if you're just seeing, you can ask them even maybe to show you what they would like. They'll find ways to talk to you. So the biggest thing I can say to grow your spiritual gifts is acknowledge them. That's the biggest way to start out, is to open the door and acknowledge them. It's like if I went and knocked on your door to talk to you and you never answered, well, what's the point? So the more you acknowledge, you start to develop, like I say, you're developing another language, right? And you're developing your own dictionary, your own vocabulary. The more you acknowledge, the larger your vocabulary gets, and you stop going from, like when you start learning in foreign language. Spanish is what I learned, so this is what I can say. Is like, you start with vocabulary of simple things around you, right? And then you start building on the verbs and all of that stuff to make it a fuller, richer experience, and it becomes bigger. So you have to just start with acknowledging and then going, okay, so like when someone goes, oh, does a butterfly mean my family member is here? I'm like, well, if you've defined it that way, then yes, it does mean that for you. And so then you can go, oh, well, I know what's one thing. One thing I say, like when I did a reading for a client the other day, and I said, oh, do you dream of fishes? And she looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, okay, dreaming of fishes means for me that you're that you dream about people having babies, that they're going to get pregnant or they're going to have babies. She's like, yeah, I do that. So it's my vocabulary. That's what I've done. So if you start acknowledging like, oh, when you either, if you're clairvoyant and you, I don't know, see the door open. I don't know if you like things moving or not. I hate things moving. There's so many other ways for them to talk to me. But if you start opening the door that way, just building your vocabulary, they'll start doing more and more. Really and truly acknowledgement and gratitude. Just like, oh, thanks for saying hello is huge. It's also when you set yourself in that motion, you're opening your energy to receive more. So it's not just about them wanting to do it. It's about subconsciously kind of pulling yourself open to the experience. Oh, wait, hang on. Do I think Trump has the virus? Do I care? Probably. He'll probably get it. I mean, a lot of us are gonna get it, and not like bad, 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 whatever. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. I think I read that Ivanka and somebody else were exposed, like in Australia or something or other. I mean, I wish I could say like, I'm not like, yay, I want him to be sick, because honestly, I don't care. That man eventually will get his due, and I don't need to put any more energy to it. How were you notified of this live chat? How were you notified of this live chat? I just put that I'm doing it, and I try to give you some time before I come on. So if anybody wants to share. Danny says, the only psychometry I can do is read photos, but I can only read the type of person they are. Seems like I pick up on the energy at the time of the photo. That's happened to me too. But again, I always think stretch yourself, right? So try and ask questions. You could psychometrize other things. If you could do a photo, you can do this, Danny. I'm just telling you can do this, because anytime, I swear to God, anytime I go, oh, I don't really do that, I can't do that, my guides are like, yeah, you can. And then they push me into a situation where I have to like stretch even bigger. So I challenge you, take the challenge, Danny. Oh, wait, Rachel, totally, being an empath can give you anxiety. The other thing that can give you anxiety that people don't really recognize is that when you start to tune in, if you're sensitive, it's not necessarily that they even have anxiety. It's that your vibrational level starts to ramp up and you get that anxiety. Just move through it. Just go, okay, that, like I used to say, because I used to get anxiety before doing readings. And it wasn't really my anxiety. It was like my energy level kind of moving up in order to like make that connection with spirit. So I would just go, oh, that means I'm connecting with spirit, and it would calm down instantly. So if you can just sort of like, oh, I'm just connecting in with the energy around me, the anxiety should shush away. But I mean, it can actually mean you're feeling their anxiety. And also, it's not necessarily, it's sometimes just feeling into all their vibrations. I'm just trying to read your comments and share my experience with it, because you're not blocked to the spirit world. They are never going to block you. Listen to me when I say this, Sherry. You are not blocked at all. It can be a subconscious fear, like, oh my God, what are they going to tell me? What are they going to share with me? I used to be afraid that they would share things with me that were like people's disease and like stage 4 and things that are not, cancer or whatever, things that I don't want to know about, or that they're going to pass or something like that. And I've gotten like, they're never going to share anything that's overwhelming that you can't handle at the time, right? They don't want to dump you into something and then you go nowhere with it, or you completely shut yourself down. They don't block you. So you can subconsciously block yourself. I don't believe in twin flames. So I didn't see if anybody asked about that. I don't believe in twin flames. I do believe that you can have that experience that you need to have in this thing with other people. But I do feel like there's soul family. So there are definitely different connections. Yes. What is the meaning of you seeing this heavenly angels? So if I see, it can literally mean someone's pregnant, or it can mean you're pregnant with an idea and something is going to come to fruition. It's what you make of it. I've seen it for both things in people, but I always get a sense of a knowing of exactly which one it is, whether it's an actual physical pregnancy or, and it can either mean it's like, so depending on also a feeling I get with it, it's impending, it's right now, or it's coming soon kind of thing. So how do I read for myself? Okay, wait, hang on, Danny, Repeating what I see in my third eye. As soon as I verbalize it, I see different things. Yeah. So, I don't know. I was trying to read it and it like cut off. Ask questions. That's what I didn't get at first. I'd be like, well, I see this. I don't know what it means. And it's like, just ask questions. What does it mean? Show me more. I need validation, whatever. And they start to feed you more. It's like they're sort of waiting for that back and forth too. How do you read for yourself? How do I read for myself? It depends. Sometimes if I'm too emotionally connected to it, I can't. And that's the truth. Still, I've gotten to this place where I'm a lot calmer about stuff, and I sort of have like a laissez-faire attitude about a lot. Um, and I think a lot of the manifesting thing has sort of given me and empowered me a little bit more, and realized that like I don't need to, like, I can just relax a lot more. I sometimes I look for, if I'm getting something and I'm like, let me just double check. I have psychic friends and I'm like, hey, getting this, can you validate or not validate? That's truly kind of what I do. Sometimes it's just too hard and I can't, and it's just because of the emotional connection. It's like, if one of my friends asks me a question and all I can feel is their anxiety behind it, I wait a little while before I'll answer them, because I need them to be in a space where they're not super focusing on it. So I'm not feeling empathically into their fear or energy on that. Oh, they do have it? Huh. Karma's a funny thing, y'all. Oh, that's really cool, Pinky Lee. That's awesome. What a beautiful way. Make sure you thank your guides for that one, because what a beautiful way for them to use you. When as a spirit around is trying to communicate with you, your body starts to tingle. You get lightheaded. Is that normal? Yeah, that's totally normal. So the lightheadedness is your vibration. You're kind of opening up your crown chakra and vibrating. In fact, when I do readings for people and they're super psychic themselves or they're not grounded, I feel like my head is going to float away like a balloon. It's normal. Don't worry. Some people actually feel like they're vibrating. It's just your energy shifting up. And the more you do it and the more you get comfortable with it, the less you notice that, and that kind of stops to go. You become more normalized to it and you just shift right in. I don't have any of the stuff I used to have anymore. You pick up on metals. So like if you hold somebody's watch or ring or whatever. Welcome, Am. How do you remember your past lives? So the way that I've connected in with my past lives truly is through meditation. And it's always been like, when I've gotten the coolest ones is when I've done deep group meditations. I've gotten some things like 3 o'clock in the morning where I've woken up and my guides have given me a vision and to understand, but it's usually because I've been asking for clarity on a situation. Like, can you explain this relation to me and what the struggle is, or why there's this struggle here? And they'll show me the past life to it and why it's the way it is. And I'm like, oh, totally makes sense. But it's usually but most of them I've gotten through like when I've done group meditations. And then the middle of the night, random vision. Hey, like the button, hit the like button. Why not, y'all? It was super funny because Duchess, Margaret, she's in Holland. She emailed me and said I hide myself, and I kind of do. So today I put all of my contact information on the bottom. I'm not going to hide anymore. No, I don't think bipolar meds will affect psychic development. I think other drugs will, but not bipolar medication. Like, meaning other drugs as in people doing recreationally or abusing prescription drugs that they shouldn't be. But when you're taking them to help like balance stuff out, I think it actually does help you, because if you're super sensitive, sometimes you do tend to like, I've seen like a lot of people with depression and anxiety actually be extremely sensitive. So you don't have something to help you kind of where you need the chemical to balance you. They get pulled way too into the darker, more negative stuff. So for me with numbers, I've decided for me, I've like made the language, Doreen Virtue. I don't know if you guys know her. She's now like Christian and denounced all her new age stuff, but she still has some great books and stuff that she's taught. So let's not like totally throw those out the window with the bathwater. What do they say? Throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's a angel numbers book that she has. And I always look for that. I'm like, does it, to see what the numbers mean and resonate, because I've decided that that is a way for them to communicate with me. It's a great vocabulary. Does it mean something? God only knows what that is. We're getting all kinds of phone calls. And I'm so used to leaving my phone on for my daughter's school, because they're usually at school at this time. We'll find out what that is. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. Oh, so I use that as part of my language. But some people say it's crap. I don't, because I've developed it into my language. You're welcome. Oh, Pinky Lee, your hands are buzzing because the energy is moving through it. It's normal. And again, the more you do something, you'll either go, oh, that's what that is. And so it becomes a calming, like sensitive feeling, or that kind of goes away because you're so used to it. This is really interesting. I used to feel like when I worked in the NICU, I've worked in several different areas as a nurse. When I worked in the NICU, I could feel their bodies buzzing and I knew they needed to burp. I don't know how any other way to explain it, but I could like feel this like buzzing in my hands. When I do energy healing, I just feel it pulsing through me when I do my energy healing stuff for people. So it's just different. It's not, don't be scared. I think the fear comes with, it's not new. It's new. It's not my normal. But think about it like, when you were little and learning stuff, kind of think about times when you were little and like doing something new, how you were scared before you did it. And then once you kind of got used to it, it was okay. Like my 3-year-old right now is scared to step over, when you step into an elevator and there's the big crack. And so she always wants to hold my hand. And I always tell her, like, I used to be scared too, because I remember having that fear when I was little. And the same thing with the escalators. It's new, and then it becomes second nature. So you'll get through it. That was just, Rachel, that was just you connecting in. So lightheadedness can be your crown chakra opening up, and the tingling is just the energy moving, your vibration raising up. I felt, it was interesting as when I was doing energy healing class, one of the guys, I felt his toes, like something weird with his toes. And he said he gets like this cramping, a weird thing in his toes. When I feel stuff through, I feel your stuff. Like I physically feel it in my body. And until I understood, like, or I'm like, even if I'm sick, I'll feel that it's different than my uncomfortable feeling. That's normal too with Reiki. Any kind of psychically tuning into somebody, you may see and feel it. So when I do energy healing in the classes that I teach or will be teaching, they just say intuitively, just go to it, whatever, don't try and read it. But because of me being a psychic medium too and a medical intuitive, I kind of get a whole bunch more. And you're going to get it differently and open up differently. It's normal though. Totally, totally normal. When you were crawling stages as a baby, you saw a puppy in spirit and played it. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, and I love that your mom connected you in too. Like I used to see stuff all the time as a kid, and I just thought, first I thought it was normal. And then I thought, people aren't seeing what I'm seeing. And some of it did scare me a little bit. Like I didn't like being in the dark in my house, because I could always feel people following me. I now know, like my daughter said to me, Mommy, I don't like walk down the hall and it's dark because I feel like somebody's following me. I said, it's just your guides. Don't worry. I didn't know that's what was going on for me when I was little. So saving her years of running through the house, turning all the lights on and starting backwards to get to your room. I was a latchkey kid, by the way. So I would turn all the lights off, and I would like turn all the lights on in the house, and then I'd go down and like turn them on. So there was always a light in front of me. Weirdo, I know. when one of the times I received Reiki, I actually saw the Kundalini coming up, and then I was getting messages for the Reiki practitioner. And she didn't know what she was doing. This is what's interesting. She really didn't know what she was doing. And I was like, oh, I saw this, and she was like confused by what I was telling her. So even if you don't know what's going on, stuff is going on. How do I protect my own energy? I kind of don't. I don't. So I've learned, I used to surround myself with a white light of protection. But I sort of developed this deep sense of belief and faith that I'm totally fully protected. I'm stronger. My guides are always around me. And if something feels like, so I never really attract anything that's like, and if something feels off, I just call upon Archangel Michael, to surround me with a white light of protection. And if I'm sending something into the light and crossing it over, so it's Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael for healing, because the spirit, I always offer healing. Archangel Chamuel for love, because I always offer love and do it with love and healing. And Archangel Gabriel to help the communication process, to make sure that there's good, full communication. And they sort of like then just like carry them over and surround them. And like, I kind of surround them and pad them and send them off with love. But I don't ever feel like I'm not protected or safe. I just trust that my guides are always around me and like not allowing that. And vibrationally, I don't match in with the really scary stuff. So it doesn't. And if you just know that, you don't really need protection. The feeling will be strong for you again, Rosewater. Who I've been really thinking about lately is Rose. Our dear Rose. We should send her some energy and love. It's funny, Dusty Rose, that's totally true. Like, people don't. My daughter is super funny because I'm really open about it with my kids, and I'm open about it pretty much with everybody, because I'm like, these are who my kids are. But like my 7-year-old is more verbal, and she goes, my friends say that it's not true. This doesn't. I said, listen, there are things you are going to experience that other people will not, and it doesn't make it not so. So just hold your own, be proud, don't worry about it, and you can share it or not share it. It doesn't matter. But because I don't want them to feel that ashamed or something around it, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. Again, I don't feel like surround yourself with a white light of protection. I used to do that, and I just go, I don't need it. And if you believe it's possible, then it is. If you believe it's not, then it's not. And there's really, truly something to be said about that. Oh my God, that's amazing, Pinky. Oh, they love your energy. That's why they know it's all okay. Kundalini is the energy. It's just the energy force that runs through you. It's just a name for it. Like chi. And they love you because they know that you're connected in with them, Pinky Lee. That's why. So, welcome, guys. So anybody who does Reiki, do you think we could remember Rose in Florida with cancer? If we could just send her some Reiki this week, and maybe kind of send her good energy, surround her, see her staying healthy and strong. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns? I could do general energy readings or general whatever, but no personal psychic readings, just kind of general stuff. When you were younger, you thought you were crazy. I did too. In fact, I actually struggled for a really long time as an adult, not wanting to be called crazy or like, sort of like, and then I kind of got to this point where I was like, fuck it, because I'm not crazy. And if they don't believe in it, and I've truly found this, sorry, I'm using a lot of swear words today. But I have found that if somebody else is freaked out and they become really defensive about what I do, there's some part of them that freaks them out because they know, what can she see that I can do? And I have had it happen with a lot of men who are actually cheating on their wives. They're dickheads to me about it. It's, what does she see? What does she know about who I am? And then guilt about who they are, and what do my family members or whoever has crossed over see? So there's a lot of interesting connection to it that way. Not crazy. And it's unfortunate that this plane of existence doesn't automatically teach, reach in and teach you about your intuition and all of that part of us. I don't teach Reiki. It's just energy healing. And I teach the classes through Holistic Studies. And as of now, the class is scheduled for September, I think 12th and 13th, the weekend. And it's in Holistic Studies Institute in the city. Yeah, exactly, Dusty Rose. We attract what we put out there. Here's the other thing. You don't have to be afraid of the dark. So there are aspects of it, and I'm not saying reach into it and whatever, but it's like, understand that your energy is stronger than that. The spirits that I've helped cross over that are darker and heavier tend to be spirits who, while in this lifetime last embodied, maybe weren't really nice people. And so they had a belief system that they were going to go to hell. And so they sort of turned in on themselves. And when they passed, became negative. Hang on, I think that means my 3-year-old's awake. What's up, Jolie? April's awake. Okay, I'll be right up. Thank you. I got the best kids. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go in a few. I'll give an example of the dark. So this guy, my property, shared a property with the property behind me. The house is very old, from the late 1800s, and there was a barn that was on my property. And my oldest daughter actually saw it when she was little. She was like maybe 2.5. And I could feel it was a dark, heavy energy, and he was doing stuff to scare her. And so I just reassured him that it was safe to go over and to cross over. And I could see him morph once he understood that it was safe. But he held this long-standing belief system that because he was a bad person, he didn't get to cross over. And then what happens is they feed on negative energy. If you think of energy as food, it's a source, right? So we get energy, kilocalories or kilojoules, whichever yours uses, through food, right? It's energy. It's just their source of where they're getting it from. Think of like Monsters Inc., that cartoon where the laughter and the fear and all of that stuff. Heavier energies. There's also these little things that come around. They're kind of little buggers. They're tiny. And then they have like red eyes. I don't know if y'all have ever seen these. Really, you just have to tell them to go away, and you sort of have to be strong about it. And sometimes they're tenacious, like, I'm going to stay here. People can hold energy feeders on their body and connections that way. But again, if you recognize that you're stronger than them and you can push them away and move them out, and you keep strong in your belief of that, and like with these little things, it's like, no, it's time to go. Like, it's like a toddler throwing a tantrum. You're like, yeah, but I'm not tolerating that. So you just kind of keep in that mode of it. They aren't allowed to stay. Oh, Black orbs too can just be family members. It just depends on how they show. But again, you can pray to Archangel Michael, or you just go. This space isn't yours. This is my plane of existence. You're not welcome here. I don't want to read anybody's energy specifically right now. So if I said in general, nothing personal right now. And plus, my daughter just told me my 3-year-old woke up, so I'm going to have to go because she's still in a crib. Yay. She's still in a crib, so I don't want to leave her all. Just want to see if there's any other things. Yes, I think you have main guides that are with you your whole life, and then there's ones that come in and out, depending on what you're going through at the time. Um, Badass. Thanks, Dusty Rose. Nice seeing you, Jazz. Jazz hands. Um, Perfect, Danny. That's true. Exactly. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go just because my daughter's up. I got to get going. But thanks for joining me. I hope you're well. Be good. Don't panic. It's all okay. We just don't want to share our germs. Um, I will see you guys Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So enjoy the rest of your weekends. Have fun. Find something good to do. My daughters are all gifted. Yes, they are. All three of them. They are all gifted. All three of them have seen things in different ways. And it's kind of funny. I'll share one of a story later on about my 3-year-old. Oh, I'm going to tell it really quick and then I'm going to go get her. Okay. So my 3-year-old is telling this is a funny story as a psychic. And she was talking about the fireman in the room. She kept saying, I was like, really? What's the fireman wearing? Blue, she said. And I said, oh, what's his hat? And she said red. And she's talking, and then I heard, then like later on, so we were talking about the fireman, the dead fireman. So the fireman is dead. And I was like, oh, okay. And then later, like that night, my kids were watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I heard her say, fireman dead. I was like, oh, psychic messes it up. It was Spider-Man, not fireman. But she does see things. Anyway, oh, Spirit told you that. Yeah, all three of my daughters are gifted. And they are all incredibly empathic and empathetic and wonderful and drive me crazy at times too, but I absolutely love them. Y'all have a great weekend. We will see you Sunday night. Join me then. Thanks for joining me now, by the way. It was a good afternoon. Bye.